clause of this bill, there would be, as I think my colleague Clayton Cosgrove said before, quite widespread acknowledgement across the House that we're concerned about reoffending. We have to be concerned about reoffending in our community, where people go and spend time in prison and then leave and recommit crimes. We have to be asking ourselves, why is that? What can we be doing about it? It's clearly defeating the purpose of people going to prison if they're constantly reoffending when they come out. So I think there's a shared concern about that across the House. There's a shared concern about what underlies the purpose clause here, that the safety of the public should be paramount when it comes to how we operate within the criminal justice system. There's a shared concern about that right across New Zealand society. And as my colleague Clayton Cosgrove also said, we all in our jobs as MPs meet the victims of crime. Some of us have been the victims of various types of crime, but we also meet many victims of crime and feel the pain that they have had and the experience that they have to continue to go through time, day after day, well beyond the time at which perhaps a crime has been perpetuated. So all of those things lie behind the concerns of everybody in this House, and I'm sure do lie behind the purpose clause that we're debating at the moment. But in the end, as a parliament, our job is to pass laws that will be effective and that will work and that have evidence to support them in doing that. And I do not believe, and the Labour Party does not believe, that this bill does that and that this purpose clause can be supported, despite what might lie behind it as a commonly held concern. The problem with this bill is that it is unworkable, it is also inequitable, and it does not it will not lead to just sentences in the way that perhaps the promoters would like it to do so. And I think it's very important that when Mr Garrett said that we need to start somewhere, well, my problem with this bill, Mr Chair, is this is not where we should be starting. Where we should be starting is actually working on stopping people committing crimes and investing in the early years to ensure that people don't move into a life of crime. We need to be ensuring that we actually support rehabilitation and reintegration into society properly. We don't undermine the organisations that do that work. We don't cut the funding for the Prisoners Aid Society, a 132-year-old organisation that does remarkable work on reintegration. And that we actually devote ourselves to starting where we can have the greatest impact, starting by working with young people who are heading down a direction that we don't want them to, starting even younger with people who are having learning difficulties, who can't stay in school, who have behavioural problems, supporting parents to be able to bring those people up. That's where we should be starting. But the purpose clause of this bill and the drive behind this bill is that it is a poster, it's a slogan, it's an emblem, it's not real change, it's not real development, it's something that the ACT Party have promoted, National Party have gone along with, but it's not actually starting in the place we should. And I'm sorry to say, Mr Chair, I think the purpose clause here gives false hope to people. It gives false hope that somehow this bill will solve the violent crime that's out there, and there is no evidence to support that. Internationally, there's no evidence to support that, and there's nothing presented to us here that does that. The regulatory impact statement for this bill actually challenges time and time again whether or not the public safety will be enhanced, whether there is a deterrent effect. And we cannot stand here in this House now and give false hope to the victims of crimes and their families that somehow or other this will wish away all of that violent crime. Because I believe that's what is going on here in terms of the ACT Party and the National Party. They are providing false hope to people. This regime is unlikely to deter would-be offenders. That's the evidence internationally. The regulatory impact statement raises that question. And Mr Garrett talked about California. And I mean, it's easy to throw different statistics around in this debate. And yes, there has been a drop in crime in parts of California, but that started before the Three Strikes Bill. And in the States, the sharpest drop in crime in the United States in the last decades has actually been in New York, a state that doesn't have a three strikes law. So why are we not looking at that, Mr Garrett? Why are we not saying, well, that's it? And in California, where the counties that actually aggressively enforced the bill, enforced the three strikes laws, actually didn't see the greatest drop in crime. The greatest drop in crime actually was in the counties that didn't enforce the law as strongly. So it's easy to throw up these statistics, put them out there, but this is not always the way to get the change we want.
Joe Gucci.
I move